Welcome to Fight News Now Extra. I'm John Pollock, and we have all of today's news coming your way with John Ramdine and Robin Black on the panel. We'll be discussing this weekend's busy lineup of fight cards. Bellator is going international in 2016. The promotion has also added a lightweight bout to their San Jose card, and Floyd Mayweather Jr. wants to help out Ronda Rousey. Floyd Mayweather Jr. spoke to Fight Hype this week and is opening the doors to help Ronda Rousey with her boxing if she is so inclined. Mayweather believes that Rousey needs some time off and they should time the rematch properly with Holly Holm and giving both a number of fights against other opponents. He said time will be needed to rebuild Rousey's confidence back up and also applauded what Dana White and the Fertitta brothers have done in promoting Rousey. Bellator has added a lightweight bout between Patricky Pitbull Freite and Derek Anderson for their December 4th card in San Jose, California. The two fought in September of 2013, with Anderson winning the first fight by unanimous decision. Since then, Anderson has gone 2-2, while Pitbull has won 4 of his last 5 fights, coming off a decision win over Sahad Awad at Bellator 141 this past August. And more Bellator news. The promotion has announced that they will host 3 international events in 2016, with shows scheduled for London, England, as well as Israel and Italy. They have yet to announce any dates for the cards, but the London card is set for the O2 Arena and will also air on Channel 5 in the UK. Bellator does return this Friday with a card from Thackerville, Oklahoma, which is headlined by Melvin Manhoef and Hisaki Kato. And this coming Saturday night, you can tune into our preview show at 7 p.m. Eastern Time as Robin Black, John Ramdine, and I will be previewing all of the fights from Monterrey, Mexico, and we will be joined by Neil Magny on the preview show. Stick around at the top of the hour as we will present 4 of the preliminary fights from Monterrey, Mexico, including Taylor Lapalus against Eric Perez. Here with John Ramdine and Robin Black, a packed weekend of fights beyond the UFC's card in Monterrey, Mexico. We have Bellator 146 on Friday night with Hisaki Kato in action against Melvin Manhoef, and World Series of Fighting, maybe the most interesting concept for the weekend, with a one-night, 8-man lightweight tournament. Mike Ricci's going to be in this tournament, Brian Foster, Brian Cobb, Luis Palomino among the 8 guys, and thankfully, they do have some reserve bouts as well, because I think they're going to need them. And I think on Saturday, we're going to be addressing whether a one-night tournament is really the best idea.
It probably isn't the best idea. I think we look back in history and see that many times the fighters that start the tournament aren't necessarily the guys that win the tournament. You save for Phil Davis. But the fact is, it's a very difficult thing. You talk to some of the greatest fighters of all time, and they said one of the reasons why they love it is because you see who the real men are or the real females that can make it through this type of tournament. But at the end of the day, your body takes a beating. I mean, it takes a beating every day inside of the cage. But from a fan's point of view and a spectacle, I love this.
Well, it's just, this is all geared at fans, and I get that. But Robin, I think, in boxing, they finally said, you know what, 15 rounds is nuts. We're going to make it 12. Because what was once the standard is just not the standard anymore. And asking guys to fight 3 times in one night, I mean, look at Bellator. They tried a one-night 4-man tournament, and Mo couldn't advance. Yeah, exactly. I just think this idea, fighting is at such a high level. To ask guys to do it 3 times in one night, it's just not viable to me.
For the fighters, I get it. Yeah. We were in Saskatchewan doing a show at Prestige, commentating Prestige. Rich Clemente, Joe Dirksen hanging out having beers. Both guys did it, and they loved it. They loved it. I support their desire to really show what level they're at. But as far as World Series of Fighting and this commission, this is very bad. I mean, we act as if we are in the same world we once were. You can't even compare the damage guys do now, the power that they have, the skills that they have, their ability to generate concussive force. It's not comparable. This is a terrible idea. It's done entirely to attract attention. It's done entirely motivated to try to get numbers or views or clicks or any of that disgusting
But what about the guys, the Mike Ricci's and the Brian Fosters that say, okay, here's my contract. Oh, 3 fights in one night. I'm signing on.
I get it.
The line.
For them, absolutely. I always support the fighters' desire to do it. I understand it. Good for those guys. That's something they want to do. You know why we have commissions? Just so you don't let fighters go fight alligators or bears or 3 guys or with swords
But
or whatever, because these guys, monstrously competitive athletes, want to do that.
Yep.
Commissions are there to not let them.
But we're seeing commissions change. For example, if you go to New Jersey, is Ricardo Almeida, who's a part of that commission, is he saying yes to this, or is he saying no to this?
No way. No real commission. What even state is this? This is a bullshit commission. Vegas, you try this in Vegas, California, Ontario, any real commission, man, they'll never do this. Never.
Thus far, we know that, I mean, this card was supposed to be in Seattle. They had to move it to Arizona. And the only other one would be Oklahoma, which hosted that Battlegrounds one-night tournament last year. And granted, they are limiting the rounds in the earlier portion of the tournament, but nonetheless, you look at a guy that goes through 3 decisions and the amount of rounds he's going to fight in one night. I think that's concerning, and it was enough that Seattle was like, listen, we're not sanctioning this. You want to do a 4-man one-night tournament? Okay, maybe we can talk about that, but we are limiting what you can do here. An 8-man is not going to happen here.
Do you know what happens if you fight in California or in Vegas, and you walk into the cage, you throw a punch, and you knock the person out? 7 days. You'll get 7 days, because the medical community who have studied fighting and created this rule set designed to protect people are like, just the action of going through that and the weight cut and all the things, you knock the guy out, 7 days, no contact. That's what they do, because that's what doctors have decided is the safe thing to do. This is a bullshit commission.
Let's chat a bit about the UFC's Tough Latin America card happening on Saturday night. Robin and I had a chance this week to speak to Ricardo Lamas and Diego Sanchez. Diego Sanchez, miraculously, is preparing for his featherweight debut. Now, on Tuesday night when we spoke to him, he said he is 17 pounds away from making that number, presumably meaning 146. I don't think he's going to go all the way to 145. But what do you think of Diego trying once again to reinvent himself? This would be his 4th weight class and one of the most impressive UFC careers out there over the past decade, and the level of fights he has had.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by this move. Again, it depends on who Diego Sanchez surrounds himself with. And if it's the people like Greg Jackson's and they feel that, you know what, this is the best move for you, the landscape is changing, all the fighters are getting bigger at 155 pounds or 170 pounds, we think that you will have an advantage here. We know that Diego Sanchez works very hard. And is this a good matchup? I think it is.
He understood exactly why he was doing it. He said fighting at 145 will make him the longer fighter, and he'll use range, and he's reinvented himself as a fighter, like John Jones, the way Hawley fought, people from their camp, Condit fought Diaz. He'll fight at range. That might not make people as excited to see him all bloodied up, but it'll make him live longer. It'll make him have a happier retirement.
He'll go to his default. We'll see Diego Sanchez do his thing.
It's happening Saturday night in Monterrey, Mexico, and Fight News Now Extra is happening now.